Imagine an entire nation suddenly gaining a digital edge over the rest of the planet overnight. OpenAI just announced a first-of-its-kind deal with the government of Malta that is about to change everything for the people living on this Mediterranean island. For the next year, every single resident is getting free access to ChatGPT+, making Malta the first country in history to launch a program of this scale. While everyone else is paying monthly for the latest AI tools, the Maltese people just got the keys to the kingdom for free. According to the announcement from OpenAI, this partnership isn't just a tech upgrade, it's a massive shift in how a nation can leverage artificial intelligence. It leaves us with a puzzling question. Is this a generous gift or the start of a new kind of digital arms race?
You're watching Investment Banker, and if you found value in our videos, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and share it with your network to stay ahead of the curve. Your support helps us keep delivering these high-level insights straight to you.
Somewhere in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, between Europe and North Africa, sits a small island nation most people barely think about. Tourists know it for beaches, ancient architecture, and summer vacations. Investors know it for online gaming and fintech regulations. But now, the entire tech world is staring at this tiny country for a completely different reason. Because Malta just became the first country on Earth where the government partnered directly with OpenAI to give its citizens access to ChatGPT+ for free. Yes, free. Not a student discount, not a startup coupon, not a one-week trial hidden behind a credit card form. An entire nation now has a pathway to receive premium AI access for 1 year after completing a national AI literacy program. According to Reuters, OpenAI officially signed an agreement with the Maltese government to roll out the initiative nationwide. And the moment this news dropped, something strange happened across the internet. People stopped treating AI like a tech product. They started treating it like electricity. Think about that for a second. For decades, nations competed for oil, manufacturing, internet infrastructure, semiconductors, and cloud computing. But now, governments are beginning to realize that the next major resource might not be physical at all. It might be intelligence itself. Artificial intelligence is slowly transforming into a national infrastructure layer, almost like roads, power grids, or telecommunications networks. That is exactly why this Malta announcement matters far more than a free subscription. According to OpenAI's official statement, the initiative is part of a broader vision where AI becomes a global utility. The company described the partnership as a world-first experiment in national AI adoption. And suddenly, a much bigger question emerges. What happens when governments stop asking whether AI is useful and start asking whether their population can survive without it? Because that changes everything. The Malta program is called AI for All. Citizens and residents who complete a free AI literacy course developed with the University of Malta can gain 1 year of ChatGPT+ access. According to Euronews, the program will be managed through Malta's national digital identity infrastructure and rolled out in phases. That detail is extremely important. This is not just OpenAI handing out subscriptions randomly. This is integration between a national government, education systems, identity infrastructure, and AI platforms. That sounds less like a marketing campaign and more like the early blueprint of a future digital society. Now, here's where things become even more interesting. Malta is not a superpower. It does not have the scale of the United States. It does not have China's manufacturing dominance. It does not have India's population advantage. Yet Malta moved faster than almost every major economy on Earth. Why? Because small nations often adapt faster than giant bureaucracies. History keeps repeating this pattern. Estonia became one of the world's most advanced digital governments long before larger European countries caught up. Singapore became a fintech powerhouse despite its size. The UAE rapidly transformed into a global AI investment hub within just a few years. Small countries move like speedboats, large countries move like cargo ships, and Malta just made a speedboat move. But this announcement also reveals something deeper happening inside OpenAI itself. For years, ChatGPT operated like a consumer app. Individuals subscribed independently, students used it for homework, creators used it for scripts, developers used APIs. But now, OpenAI is clearly evolving into something much larger, a geopolitical infrastructure company. That sounds dramatic, but look at the evidence. The company is now partnering directly with governments. It is helping shape national education systems. It is participating in state-level AI adoption strategies. And according to OpenAI's official statement, Malta is only one example under a broader initiative called OpenAI for Countries. That phrase alone should make people pay attention, because it suggests OpenAI is no longer thinking only about consumers, it's thinking about nations. And when nations begin competing for AI access, the AI race stops being just a business competition between tech companies. It becomes a strategic global power game. Imagine 2 countries 10 years from now. One nation trains its students, workers, businesses, and public institutions to use advanced AI every single day. The other delays adoption because policymakers fear disruption. Which country becomes more productive? Which economy grows faster? Which workforce becomes more valuable? The answer feels obvious. That's why this Malta deal matters far more than Malta itself. This is the opening scene of a much larger story. A story where governments realize AI literacy may become as important as internet literacy once was. A story where access to intelligence tools becomes a national advantage. And a story where the countries that move first could gain enormous economic leverage over the rest of the world. Because once one country starts giving its citizens advanced AI access, other countries cannot afford to ignore it.
Why governments are suddenly racing toward AI.
The Malta deal might look like a feel-good technology story on the surface. Free AI access, digital education, government innovation, headlines designed for excitement. But beneath the surface, this announcement reveals a deeper fear quietly spreading through governments around the world. The fear of being left behind. For years, artificial intelligence felt experimental. It lived inside research labs, startup conferences, and science fiction conversations. Most governments watched from the sidelines while companies like OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, and Meta fought for dominance. But then something changed. AI stopped behaving like a futuristic toy and started behaving like an economic multiplier. Workers using AI began completing tasks faster. Developers started shipping code in hours instead of weeks. Students began learning differently. Marketing teams automated content pipelines. Customer support systems transformed overnight. Entire workflows started collapsing into AI-assisted systems. Suddenly, governments realized something terrifying. If their citizens don't learn AI fast enough, their entire workforce could become less competitive globally. That's why Malta's move is actually strategic, not symbolic. According to OpenAI's official announcement, the goal is not just access, but AI literacy and workforce empowerment. That phrase matters because AI literacy may become the defining skill of the next decade. Think about what happened during the internet revolution. In the early days, knowing how to use computers was considered a niche skill. Then suddenly, every job required email, spreadsheets, browsers, and digital communication. Entire generations had to adapt quickly or risk economic irrelevance. AI could create a similar shift, except much faster. And governments know it. That's why countries worldwide are now scrambling to position themselves in the AI race. The UAE has already launched massive AI infrastructure initiatives. According to widespread reports and discussions online, OpenAI's partnerships in the region involve giant data center projects and national-scale AI integration plans. Meanwhile, Europe is racing to balance AI innovation with regulation. China is pouring billions into domestic AI models. The United States is treating AI as a strategic national priority. India is rapidly becoming one of the largest AI user markets in the world. And now, Malta enters the spotlight as the first nation offering structured national ChatGPT Plus access tied to education. This is no coincidence. Governments are starting to understand that AI adoption affects 3 enormous areas simultaneously. First, economic productivity. Second, workforce competitiveness. Third, geopolitical influence. That combination makes AI impossible to ignore. Imagine a future where businesses in one country use AI daily while businesses in another country avoid it due to regulation, fear, or lack of access. Productivity gaps would explode. A designer using AI tools could outperform 5 traditional designers. A programmer using advanced AI copilots could outperform entire small teams. A marketing agency using AI automation could dominate competitors still working manually. This is not theoretical anymore. It's already happening, and Malta seems to have recognized that early. But there's another layer here most people are missing. By requiring citizens to complete an AI course before receiving ChatGPT Plus, Malta is doing something incredibly smart. It is trying to prevent blind AI dependency. Because governments understand there's a danger in unleashing powerful AI tools without education. People need to understand hallucinations, biases, privacy concerns, misinformation risks. According to Euronews, the course focuses on what AI can and cannot visu, along with responsible use at home and work.
That transforms the program from a giveaway into a national training initiative. And honestly, that may become the model other countries follow, because the future AI race may not simply be about who has access to models. It may be about who knows how to use them best. There's also a fascinating political angle here. Governments traditionally struggle to move quickly in technology. Bureaucracy slows innovation. Regulations take years. Public institutions often lag behind private companies. But AI evolves at startup speed. Weeks matter. Months matter. A country that waits too long risks falling permanently behind. That urgency explains why OpenAI's OpenAI for Countries initiative is so important. The company is essentially positioning itself as an AI infrastructure partner for governments, not just a chatbot company, not just a subscription business, an infrastructure partner. And that changes the power dynamics completely, because whoever becomes the operating system of national AI ecosystems could gain extraordinary influence over education, productivity, communication, and digital economies. That's why this Malta announcement is not a local European story. It's an early signal of a much larger transformation, a transformation where AI access becomes tied to national strategy, where governments stop treating AI as optional, and where the countries that adapt fastest could dominate the next economic era. The AI race is no longer company versus company. It's country versus country now. And Malta just fired the starting gun.
The hidden economic bomb behind free ChatGPT. Whenever people hear the word free, they usually assume someone is losing money. But in the world of technology, free products are often the most expensive moves ever made. Because sometimes giving something away is not charity, it's strategy. And the Malta deal may become one of the smartest long-term strategic investments OpenAI has ever made. At first glance, the idea sounds financially insane. Why would a company give premium AI subscriptions to an entire country? ChatGPT Plus normally costs around $20 per month in many regions. Multiply that across a national population, and the numbers become enormous very quickly. But OpenAI is almost certainly not thinking about 1 year. It's thinking about decades, because whoever captures user habits early often controls the future market. We've seen this pattern before. When Google gave schools free tools, students grew up inside Google's ecosystem. When Microsoft dominated office software in classrooms, businesses later adopted Microsoft products naturally. When Apple placed devices into education systems, younger generations became lifelong customers. Technology companies understand something powerful. Habits formed early become infrastructure later. That's exactly why Malta matters. If an entire population becomes deeply comfortable using ChatGPT for work, research, education, productivity, coding, brainstorming, and communication, then AI stops being a novelty. It becomes part of everyday life. And once that happens, people rarely go backward. This is how platforms become utilities. According to OpenAI's statement, the company believes intelligence should become widely available like electricity. That comparison sounds ambitious, but economically it makes sense. Utilities create dependence. Dependence creates ecosystems. Ecosystems create dominance. And dominance creates long-term revenue streams far larger than subscriptions alone. Think about how AI could eventually integrate into governments, healthcare, education, customer service, transportation, law, finance, and public administration. Now imagine which companies benefit if their AI models become the default operating layer across those sectors. The value becomes astronomical. This is why Malta may be less about subscriptions and more about experimentation. OpenAI now gets a real-world national laboratory, an entire country testing how citizens use AI at scale. How students adapt, how workers respond, how productivity changes, how institutions integrate AI into everyday operations. That kind of data and insight could be incredibly valuable. But there's another major economic angle here. AI adoption creates future demand for infrastructure. The more people use AI, the more countries require data centers, cloud systems, energy capacity, chips, networking hardware, cybersecurity, and enterprise AI tools. Which means AI growth doesn't just benefit OpenAI, it benefits entire industries. Semiconductor companies, cloud providers, telecom firms, cybersecurity companies, energy infrastructure builders. And nations know this. That's why countries are no longer just discussing AI apps. They're discussing AI ecosystems. The Malta deal is small in population size, but symbolically massive because it proves governments are willing to treat AI as national infrastructure. And once one government does it successfully, others may follow. Imagine the chain reaction. A European country sees Malta improving workforce productivity.
Another nation launches its own AI literacy initiative. A third country subsidizes AI access for students. Suddenly, governments worldwide are competing to create the most AI-capable population. That competition could reshape global economics. And there's one more hidden layer most people haven't considered yet. AI literacy could become a new class divide. People who know how to leverage AI effectively may become dramatically more productive than those who don't. A single entrepreneur using AI tools intelligently could compete with teams that previously required huge budgets. A student using AI for accelerated learning could outperform peers. A small creator using AI-assisted workflows could rival giant media companies. This is why governments are becoming nervous. Because if only elites gain access to advanced AI skills, inequality could widen rapidly. Malta's AI for All initiative appears designed to prevent exactly that scenario. Instead of limiting advanced AI to tech professionals or wealthy users, the government is attempting mass adoption. That is a profoundly important policy experiment. And honestly, the rest of the world will be watching closely, especially developing economies. Countries like India, Indonesia, Vietnam, and parts of Africa may see AI as a shortcut opportunity. Instead of waiting decades to build traditional economic advantages, AI could allow smaller businesses and individuals to compete globally much faster. That possibility is revolutionary, but it also creates pressure, because nations that fail to adapt may see talent drain towards AI-advanced economies. Workers may relocate digitally, companies may outsource differently, education systems may become outdated rapidly. The economic consequences could ripple everywhere, which is why Malta's move feels less like a tech headline and more like the first tremor before a global shift. Because once intelligence becomes scalable, digital, and widely distributed, the entire economic hierarchy of the modern world may start changing, and nations know it. That's why the AI race has officially escaped Silicon Valley. Now the governments are entering the arena too.
OpenAI's real goal might be bigger than ChatGPT.
For most people, ChatGPT still feels like a chatbot. You type a question, it gives an answer. Maybe it helps with homework, coding, writing, research, or brainstorming. Simple. But if you zoom out far enough, something much bigger starts appearing behind the scenes. And the Malta partnership may be one of the clearest signals yet that OpenAI is quietly building something far more ambitious than an AI app. It may be building the operating layer for the future economy. That sounds futuristic until you examine how rapidly AI is spreading into every industry at once. Software development, education, healthcare, finance, government services, media, customer support, legal research, manufacturing, marketing, search engines, even banking systems are starting to become AI-powered. According to the Economic Times, India recently launched an AI-powered phygital banking branch through Slice Small Finance Bank in Guwahati, combining AI systems with physical banking infrastructure. That matters because it shows AI is no longer staying inside Silicon Valley. It's leaking into the real world, into offices, schools, governments, banks, and eventually daily life itself. Now look at what OpenAI is doing strategically. First, it partnered with massive companies like Microsoft for cloud infrastructure. Then it expanded enterprise AI tools. Then it pushed developer ecosystems. Then AI agents. Then education partnerships. And now direct government partnerships. That sequence is extremely important. Because historically, the most powerful technology companies weren't necessarily the ones with the best products. They were the ones that became infrastructure. Google became infrastructure for information. Amazon became infrastructure for cloud computing. Microsoft became infrastructure for productivity software. Apple became infrastructure for premium consumer ecosystems. And OpenAI now appears to be chasing something similar for intelligence itself. According to OpenAI's official statements, the company increasingly frames AI as a foundational utility for society. That language is deliberate. Utilities are sticky. Once societies depend on them, replacing them becomes incredibly difficult. That's why the Malta deal matters strategically, because OpenAI is not just distributing software. It is embedding itself into national education systems, workforce training, and public digital infrastructure. And once AI becomes integrated at that level, it stops being optional. Imagine a generation of students raised using AI daily, a generation where writing, learning, coding, researching, and problem-solving all involve AI assistance from childhood. Those students would think differently, work differently, learn differently, compete differently. That shift could fundamentally alter the structure of economies. But there's another fascinating layer here that most people are ignoring. The battle for AI dominance may eventually become a battle for default behavior. Right now, people still manually search many things online, but increasingly users are asking AI directly instead of browsing websites. Instead of opening 10 tabs, people ask one AI assistant. Instead of researching manually, they summarize instantly. Instead of building workflows from scratch, AI assembles them dynamically.
That changes the internet itself, and whichever AI system becomes society's default assistant could gain extraordinary influence over information flow, productivity, and economic activity. This is exactly why companies are racing so aggressively right now, because once user habits lock in, switching becomes harder, and Malta may represent an early-stage experiment in mass behavioral adoption, an entire population becoming AI native. That is incredibly valuable. According to Reuters, Malta's initiative specifically aims to turn AI into practical assistance for workers, students, and families. That wording sounds simple, but hidden inside it is a giant transformation. AI is moving from specialized technology to daily utility, the same way smartphones evolved. At first, smartphones felt revolutionary. Then eventually they became invisible. Today, people don't use smartphone technology. They just live through it. AI could follow the same path. And if that happens, OpenAI's long-term opportunity becomes massive beyond imagination. But this also introduces serious risks, because when AI systems become deeply integrated into societies, questions around privacy, dependency, misinformation, censorship, and economic disruption become unavoidable. What happens if governments rely too heavily on private AI companies? What happens if a country's educational infrastructure depends on foreign AI systems? What happens if AI-generated misinformation spreads faster than human institutions can respond? These are not science fiction concerns anymore. They are policy concerns now. That's why Malta requiring AI literacy training before access is so important. According to Euronews, the educational course focuses on responsible use and understanding AI limitations. The government clearly understands that mass AI adoption without education could become dangerous. And honestly, many countries may soon face the same dilemma. Move fast and risk social disruption, or move slowly and risk economic irrelevance. That tension will define the next decade. Because the AI race is no longer just about innovation. It's about adaptation speed. And Malta just showed the world that even tiny nations can move first.
Could AI become the next internet revolution? Back in the 1990s, many people thought the internet was overrated. Some newspapers mocked it, businesses ignored it, governments underestimated it. Experts debated whether ordinary people would ever really need it. And then the internet swallowed the planet. Entire industries vanished. New billion-dollar companies appeared out of nowhere. Communication changed forever. Shopping changed forever. Education changed forever. Media changed forever. The people who adapted early gained enormous advantages. The people who waited often got crushed. Now here's the uncomfortable question. What if AI is entering that same phase right now? Because Malta's decision feels eerily similar to the early internet era. A government realizing that digital literacy is not optional anymore. A country trying to prepare its citizens before the transformation fully arrives. And according to Reuters, Malta is the first nation to attempt this kind of nationwide AI access program linked directly to education. That's historic. Not because Malta is huge, but because first movers often shape future models. Think about Estonia becoming a digital government pioneer, or Singapore becoming a fintech hub, or South Korea dominating broadband infrastructure early. Small countries sometimes become laboratories for future systems, and Malta may now become a laboratory for AI-native society design. But the most important part of this story is not the free subscription. It's what comes next. Because once citizens begin integrating AI into their daily workflows, expectations change rapidly. Students expect AI-assisted education. Workers expect AI productivity tools. Businesses expect automation. Consumers expect intelligent services. Governments expect AI-enhanced administration. And once expectations shift, there is no reverse gear. That's how technological revolutions work. Slowly, then suddenly. The internet followed that exact pattern. Smartphones followed that exact pattern. Social media followed that exact pattern. And AI might be accelerating even faster than all of them. Why? Because AI doesn't just create one industry. It amplifies every industry simultaneously. That is what makes it uniquely disruptive. A better smartphone improved communication. A better internet improved connectivity. But advanced AI improves thinking, productivity, creativity, research, analysis, coding, communication, and automation all at once. It acts like an economic multiplier. That's why governments are panicking to catch up. And honestly, the Malta deal may just be the first domino. Imagine what happens if larger countries start launching similar programs. What if governments subsidize AI tools for students? What if national education systems integrate AI tutors? What if AI literacy becomes mandatory in schools? What if businesses begin requiring AI competency for jobs? Suddenly, AI knowledge becomes as essential as knowing how to use the internet, and that future might arrive much faster than people expect. According to multiple reports surrounding the Malta initiative, the country sees AI adoption as part of a broader digital transformation strategy tied to workforce readiness and competitiveness. That wording matters, because competitiveness is the key word here.
countries are beginning to realize AI could reshape global economic rankings. Nations with AI-skilled populations may outperform those without them. Small businesses using AI may outperform giant traditional firms. Individual creators may compete with media corporations. Tiny startups may challenge billion-dollar industries. And workers who master AI tools could become dramatically more valuable in the labor market. This creates enormous opportunity, but also enormous instability, because every technological revolution creates winners and losers. Some jobs disappear, new industries emerge, old systems collapse, new power centers rise, and the countries that prepare early usually suffer less disruption. That may be Malta's real strategy, not just giving people free AI, but preparing society before the wave becomes unavoidable. And if that's true, then this story is much bigger than one island nation in Europe. It's an early warning signal for the rest of the world, a glimpse into what governments may soon start doing everywhere, because eventually every nation will face the same question. If AI becomes the engine of future productivity, can any country afford to let its population fall behind? That question might define the next decade of global competition, and Malta just became the first country brave enough to answer it publicly.